I am going to just, I think it's like 10 seconds when resetting when spawn doors open.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Stopping it at 28 seconds. So, why are we looking at this game again? Just because I've restarted it. Okay, and we're looking at you look at playing selfishly versus like team-based. Okay, starting now. I don't know what you're doing at the start. So again, you're looking to bail out your Reinhardt and your DPS. Based on their team, which you don't know out of the first fight, you want to be looking to bail out specifically your Cass and Rein. Your BAP can help because the rest of your team can get out. I don't know how I feel about playing this. Because if your Rein walks out of gates aggressively, which he does end up doing, I'm pausing it. So you walk point and turn around, which is really bad. Not especially in hindsight, because your Reinhardt engages really, really aggressively as you turn around. But you shouldn't be looking to play point. You should be letting either your BAP or your Cass, who are also there, to walk point, because you have the strongest bailout ability in your team for how you're looking to play. Because both Echo is going to go on pseudo dives, and your Reinhardt's going to walk into them. If either of them do that and they fuck up in any way, you have the best tool to bail them out, because you can pull them back and can reposition them. Whereas your Rein, if your BAP plays with your Rein, he can sustain the brawl. If your Rein plays smart, he can also sustain the Cass brawl if he plays smart. You have to fix their mistakes when they play stupid, instead of looking to maintain them. And you don't need to play point here. You have two people with you. You let Rein dies here because you stop looking at him. I am playing it again. And you have tunnel vision on the Echo. And you need to be a little bit more aware and looking at your surroundings. And you don't even save the Echo as well. So in hindsight, it's even worse doing this, because you let Rein die because you're not in a position to pull him, and you don't even save Echo, which is the justification for letting Reinhardt die.
Irrepressible.
Yeah. Like, they both make mistakes here and die, but you put yourself in a position where you can't correct either. Again, in this second fight, you're LOSing your ramp. So you could probably pull him a lot faster, because... And then he doesn't get windowed. Your Echo gets himself killed. This isn't new. You could probably tree, because you get one. You did tree. Nice. That's your Cass's fault. There's not really too much you can do here. This isn't. No, I changed my mind. I said I wasn't sure about this play. It wouldn't really good a little bit. But you have 3 and you just duped, so it's fine. And your Echo gets 2, but it doesn't matter. You'll see here. Just look at how long you stand still typing. At this point, with how you look at the timer, look at how fast your RAM goes in. It's better just to wait till the end of the round to type, especially if you're typing with controller. Like, because if you follow your ramp, he can probably go touch point because he has heals. And you might be able to get there and collapse on that people. This is unfortunate. I don't know where your BAP is. It's to immort him. Actually, I'm gonna check real quick. where your BAP was when Cass gets paused. He's dead? Why did he die? When did he die? Wait a minute.
3, 2.
Oh, it's on. 60 seconds. There's... Okay, I'm gonna... I went back. I'm gonna look at it. So just wait at second round. So you fade in. This is too far. So go back to, and we wanna look. I wanna look at that fight. Where is? Why won't the thing save? For some reason it just won't get up. It just wouldn't get off 60 seconds for skipping. So this fight, second fight isn't really your fault. Like there's a misplay, there's a communication misplay where like you need to either commit your emote or your pull earlier to him, so you only use one and then attempt to save it, and like the echo just doesn't allow you to save her. Oh, so they walked in over aggressively after the fight was already lost and got themselves killed. Okay, that's what I missed. I was not expecting people to be in already, so yeah, no, this is just really important. Jeanette, there's nothing you can do here.
Let them out.
Yeah. I wouldn't classify this as not fighting the best. You played pretty poorly. Like, okay, out of like the fights, it's like, what was 3-4 fights? And you reactive fade and then don't go anywhere to the when the Genji dove you, so he just gets the walk on you for free, which is like unfortunate, but you should like you go to the other side because they're diving, so if she invests pulse, they're probably gonna try and follow up on it. So it stands to reason that when they invest pulse on a dive comp, someone's gonna follow. So if you fade essentially into the same spot where the pulse was, that's not particularly the most safe spot, especially because you no longer have fade. You don't have to abandon them. If you go fade over to the right door, you can still orb him and you can still be in range of him. And then you're slightly more safe, and if they dive you, they don't immediately just 180 and turn around. They have to go further than that. And BAP should be coming back and be able to see you as well.
We cannot tolerate any more missteps. What is it now?
I still don't think you should play Weaver alone. Because you can, especially because at the moment like we do and I'm playing tank with you, I can use your pull a lot more aggressively, and you can get a lot more value from pull just by the nature of that we can't play together. I really think you should try experimenting with your sense a little. It seems a little low for you. You do a lot of... Your aim is really weird on Moira. It seems you struggle to turn as much as you need to, and you also do a lot of micro movement.
Taste of poison.
This is very aggressive. You're at 20% and you've capped. 549. It's where you're holding the little rover. Oh, actually, yeah, while you catch up, I'll look at the teams. So you've both switched onto Czar, and you're playing pretty similar comps. Your differences are a Cass for Tracer and a Moira for Mercy. So you have a lot better defensive capability. Give me a sec. You have a lot more defensive capability than the enemy team because you have higher heals for their dives, and you also have cast nade for your defense against the dives. You do have a bit more flexibility to DPS here and pressure their flankers. So you want to be looking to play more defensively here and to play to pressure out flankers and sustain your Zarya. Because neither of them have the best way to build charge. It's really, because like the only spam that there is Genji on both sides and Zarya ult fires. So assuming no one's stupid, neither team should really be getting that much charge. You also have cast nade, so their Zarya should have a slight advantage on charge. So you want to and that in tandem with the slightly higher damage of blue beam, you want to be playing more defensive to pressure out their flankers and sustain your Zarb more, because there should be a slight damage advantage. And 549 is where I am. So they have a slightly, like you do have cast burst, but they can use that to turn into charge. They have a slightly better dive burst, and they have a slight better overall damage. Should have a slight overall better damage, which you can just make up with your heals and make up with your damage pressure. Let me know when you're approximately. Okay, playing now. And that's not the type of area that you want to hold to fade out, because you're going to be fading back into your team before they invest cooldowns onto you. When you're playing an off angle and using fade to play an off angle, looking for the tracer is good, but you can switch a lot faster between looking for the flank and looking at your team. You want to burst, look, burst, look, burst, look, and keep switching back. Nice kill with the Genji, but you've also left your Zarya to die. Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't let... Okay, you put her in a situation where she gets crit. You probably should have left the Genji a little bit earlier. And then that is her fault that she dies. You try and save her, but you're also playing in an unsafe position to do so. So you make a handful of misplays that lead her to both... we're not going to talk about that TP. You make a couple of mistakes, and she also makes a couple of mistakes that in tangent lead to her dying.
Right.
That's a nice play by your line. You just hard beat. I don't even think you heal because of them more. And just try and kill Genji. I don't even know what you did here. I'm gonna rewind this because I need to look at that again. What the fuck just happened? I'm going back to your engagement.
Pain is inevitable.
Okay. You're gonna need to say that sentence again because you did not say it properly. Okay, that is not what you said in the slightest. You said you were waiting for the Genji to heal. Okay, so I'm going back to the start. They window. You walk at the end of the window. He probably walks a little bit early. Your Sim gets caught out. I don't know why you're playing Sim, but at least your rank does punish. You should look at the Genji when he engages, and you should look to help kill Genji. You kind of just let you're very indecisive here. I don't know what you're doing. You can't decide if you're DPSing or you can't decide what you're healing. You need to commit to one. In this case, you need to commit to one option here. You're either going into DPS or you're going in to save your team, trying to help your team. There are some instances where you need to commit to one or the other. Like, a lot of the time that you use Fade, you want to commit, it's because you're committing to do one thing. You're either committing to do damage or you're committing to do healing. Or you're saving yourself because you're holding an aggressive position. Yeah, you should easily be able to track that tracer. Your sensitivity is too low. Each time you play, turn it up by like 5. Until it gets to, if it gets to a point where you're no longer able to control it, turn it down by 5. And you'll just slowly increase. You can just look to call here whenever for the tempo. If anyone walks too aggressive, you call them with orb. And then do damage to their team. That's ambitious teleporter, especially when it's a nice pick. That's unfortunate. Nice. That was played well by you. There was still a lot of mistakes, but you did better. You're also just having some instances where you're not committing to anything. Or committing, your engagement style is still a little bit off. It very much looks like you do at some times have commitment issues.
Got a good
So
cigar
you
and a big iron. What more does a man need? Maybe something to
Yes.
drink.
But that properly boils down from other phases. If you're realistically, you should be doing this on every map, especially if you're Moira. Just to speed out of spawn because it gives you an advantage. But that's also sweaty. So if you want to do the sweaty play, you should. But it's understandable if you don't. Ideally, you do play on every map that's like this, especially because you're a Moira main. If you're on Weaver, not as much. Someone's left with you. It's when you walk through, like, first walk through choke. The Tracer's on the left and you don't see her. And then she blinks into your team. Oh, and you need to be looking for flankers more. You need to be, like, you have to remember Moira, if you want to get value with Moira, you have to min-max her. Oh! That's a nice up. I don't think it bounced well, but that was an interesting ult spot. You just need to be a little bit more aware, because if they were playing different DPS, you die there. Going for that orb. The orb where you try to orb into their backline of their house with the mini, you can take a lot safer of a line for that as well. Like that's a cool orb idea. Just for some damage pressure and to like regen your resources. I don't know if you see that, Tracer. Yeah. You just need to be in this. Okay, this is like a very hard comp for you to play into. I'm just letting you know because you have to be. That was a stupid fade. You have to be very aware, so you need to be like constantly turning to look at like 2-3 different things at once. Because you have to be constant, like you can't tunnel vision. And pretty much every time you tunnel vision, you lose a fight. Yeah. 11:31. So pretty much every point that you tunnel vision in this game, you lose that fight. So your tunnel visioning is very punishing due to the nature of their comp and the nature of your comp, because you're playing Brawl with more pokey DPS, so your DPS are looking to off angle a lot, and due to that, and then being on dive, your DPS get caught out quite a bit, and you have to both stop them getting caught out and sustain your front line, which is a rough time, and it does put a lot of pressure on you to be aware and to use your resources very, very well. Okay, I'm playing it again. Let's see what happens. Oh god, I'm worried. But look, if you look at the Tracer and 2 people immediately drop the crit. Okay. Oh. That's an... Oh. Oh, please tell me you don't lose this fight. Okay, good. Because you committed 5 ults. this just like if you playing Break here would have been a lot easier for you. Just letting you know. I don't know if it would be the optimal pick. It would just be an easier pick for you because you have the a lot wider heal, so you can afford to put tunnel vision a lot more. That's oh damn! Oh, you didn't best shadow. They did. You used. You get the Genji. That's unfortunate. Yeah, you definitely need to turn your sense up. You should not be struggling to track a Genji at that range.
Progress is seldom won with ease. You need only ask
That's a nice
for my
TP.
help.
As long as you. Why are you healing the Genji? Yeah. You need to. Okay. One thing that I think the major takeaway from this game is you need to turn up your sensitivity so you can look around more, and you need to be asking why you're committing when you commit. Like what you need to be like actively asking yourself more often what you're doing, because a lot of the time is this is a lot harder of a game for you because you do need to be looking at so many things at once, because you're looking for two different flankers and you're looking at your aggressive Rhine engagements. In theory, your BAP should be able to sustain your Rhine through all of his aggressive engagements, but that's not happening. So you do have to supplement his heals for that. But you pretty much have 5 things that you're looking at all times. Both of your DPS at an individually, both their DPS individually, and your tank. Their tank and their supports don't matter as much because you're matching tanks, and it's pretty much a mirror through these second 2 rounds, and you need to. When your tank, I think you need to ask 2 questions a lot more in your games. When your tank dies, why do they die? And when you die, why do you die? Because there's a handful of points where you die due to poor fade usage or over aggressive fade usage, and there's also just a handful of points where your tank die because you're not looking at them. And granted, it wouldn't happen in this game just because of the nature of the compositions, but a lot of the time where your tank is able to live, you're able to play a lot more aggressively onto that backline. If you let your tank make space for you to walk into the enemy backline, you can do a lot more to DPS. It's the concept of using your teammates, not playing it by yourself. You don't need to 1v5 in a lot of situations. You can use your teammates as a distraction, and the longer that they're alive, the longer they can make space for you and divert resources away from you. Because a lot of Moira's pressure is, a lot of Moira's value is removing resources from the enemy team. Like if they have an Ana, both anti and sleeper win cons on their own. If you get a sleep on a squishy, that's essentially, if you follow up a sleep correctly, that's a free kill. Aunties can also lead to free kills. If you walk into their backline and remove both their cooldowns, that's 2 game-winning options they no longer have. Plus, you're pressuring their Ana, which can result in them having less healing. Plus, with the way that Moira works, you can also build coal and coal in while you're DPSing and coal into your team. You can also throw heal orbs into your Reinhardt from where you are. I'm not sure if it's a Reinhardt or not, but you can throw heal orbs to help yourself that go back into your team. You can also throw damage orbs that help you to go back into your team. But your teammates are also a resource. I think if you start thinking of them as a resource that you can use, you probably have a lot more instances where you're keeping them alive and using them more as a tool than just as an annoyance. Yeah, not care about them because you care about them as people. care about them because they're useful to you. It's the case of like if you're like a carpenter, you care about like say a hammer because you want to be able to use the hammer as much as you can and get as much use out of it, and then you can do your job better if you keep this hammer for a long time, right? But if you break the hammer every time that you use it, you're going to be using a lot more, and it's going to be a lot more difficult. Your job's going to be a lot more difficult. So think of them as resources to help you rather than just something that you have to like babysit. Ham is there's probably a better analogy, a better tool than a thing, because there's a lot of like technology that will just break randomly because technology is fickle. But you understand the analogy either way. We can look at that. Yeah, I'll reset stream and we can look at the second one. Um, okay, and then we can play something when you're back.